Closing day feels like the finish line. Land transfer tax, legal fees, the down payment, all budgeted, paid, and cleared. The hard financial part is over. Well, not quite. Someone closes on a home, breathes a sigh of relief, and then gets caught off guard 3 or 4 months later, not by one big cost, by a handful of smaller ones nobody walked them through ahead of time. This video isn't about closing costs. That's a separate conversation, and there's a blog linked in the description below if that's more of what you need. I'm Justin Sinkowski with Royal LePage Prime Real Estate. I work with buyers and sellers across the Winnipeg and Interlake region. This video is about what shows up after the moving truck leaves and the real cost of owning a home in Manitoba. Starting with property tax, this one trips up most new homeowners. Buying a home doesn't automatically trigger a new tax bill based on purchase price. Winnipeg usually reassesses every property citywide on a 2-year cycle, not house by house the moment home ownership changes hands. So if a buyer paid more than the home's previous assessed value, the tax bill doesn't jump to match it overnight. The first bill is usually based on the previous owner's assessment, because assessment and purchase price are two completely different numbers, set on two completely different schedules. The gap does eventually close as citywide reassessments catch up, but it's not tied to a closing date. Taxes in Winnipeg are usually due by June 30th each year. The number on a future notice looks off once reassessment catches up. There is an appeal process through the city. It's worth knowing that option exists before assuming the number on the page is final. Next is insurance. This one catches renters turned buyers the hardest, because renters insurance and homeowner insurance aren't in the same universe cost-wise. Home insurance in Manitoba averages around $1,100 a year. In Winnipeg specifically, that number might jump to about $1,400 to $1,500. And that's not a number most first-time home buyers have priced into their monthly budget. And suddenly, it's one more item competing with moving costs. Renter's insurance is cheap because it only covers what's inside the unit. Homeowner insurance covers the structure itself, the age of the roof, and now the one almost nobody ever budgets for, ongoing maintenance. A common guideline is to set aside 1 to 1.5% of a home's value each year for maintenance, of a home's value each year for home maintenance and repairs. On a $400,000 home, that works out to roughly $4,000 to $6,000 a year, whether if it actually gets spent that year or not. None of this is a reason to wait on buying. It's a reason to open the maintenance fund on closing day. So year 3's roof or furnace replacement is an item that was already planned for, instead of an emergency that wrecks a budget. If this is the stage that's actually on your mind right now, trying to get a full financial picture before writing an offer, there's a first-time buyer guide linked in the description below. Might be worth grabbing now for the next step. Utilities jump more than buyers expect. Heating an entire house through a Manitoba winter costs meaningfully more than heating 1 or 2 rooms most renters were ever responsible for. And that's before water and sewer and garbage charges. That kind of thing was probably bundled into rent before and never itemized on its own. Most buyers can estimate their mortgage amount down to the dollar before they ever make an offer. Most buyers do ask what utility costs are. Very few people ask for a full year of bills before deciding what they can actually afford. And one summer month says nothing about what a Manitoba winter might actually cost in heat. It's a reasonable thing to ask for, especially heading into a first Winnipeg winter as an owner instead of a renter. Then there's moving in itself, plus the smaller things nobody thinks about until the exact moment they need them, like window coverings, appliances, changing the locks. All that typically adds another $5,000 to $2,000 in the first few weeks alone. Homeownership is still one of the best financial decisions most people make in Manitoba, but this conversation belongs before an offer gets written. Before helping anyone make a decision about size, understanding the full picture matters. Not just the mortgage payment, but what the next 12 months actually look like financially. That's what makes buying a home feel like a decision someone made on purpose, instead of something that just happened to them. If this is where you're at in your own search, in Winnipeg, the Interlake, the first-time buyer guide is linked below. And a call is a good option to talk through the actual numbers for your situation. Subscribe for more of this, real costs, real numbers, and then watch my next video on first-time home buyers.